FM. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. He's Hacker.
Talk about a fried egg. I lasted about 5 minutes out there. I said, to heck with this. I'll do this in the morning. And I don't have any inside information. The lady that did it, she got in there. She made it happen.
And he doesn't shy away from opinion.
And I do enjoy drinking cold beer at ballparks. So if that makes me a baseball fan, then I'm a diehard baseball fan.
It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
And a very good Friday evening to you, Jacksonville. It is Hacker After Dark, 1010XL, 92.5 FM with Dylan Denmark. The Hacker Ryan Green with you. Glad you are with us. A Friday night that has us now inside of 24 hours away from the preseason opener for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Tomorrow night, 7 o'clock, Everbank Stadium. The Pittsburgh Steelers roll into town. One of the most anticipated preseason games I think we've had in quite some time, probably fair to say, knowing you're going to get to see Trevor Lawrence a little bit tomorrow night. You're going to get to see Brian Thomas Jr., Hines Allen, Trayvon Walker, Tyson Campbell. All the guys are going to play. And, of course, that also means Travis Hunter, who you're going to see at both offense and defense. How much the guys are going to play? Well, probably about a quarter. Although, again, I said this last night, if the offense goes out there on their first drive, 7 plays, 70 yards, punches it in for a touchdown, I'm probably done with them for the evening. I don't probably need to see anything other than that. But we'll see how Liam Cohen decides to play it. We know Pittsburgh is not going to play. Most of their big names, in fact, all of their big names are not going to play. But we'll see how Pittsburgh does play it with Mason Rudolph. He's at least a name at quarterback. That'll be something the Jaguar defense gets to go against. Rudolph as a starting quarterback caliber guy in this league. Started a lot of games in the last couple of years, certainly. But we'll give our thoughts on the Jaguars, guys that we're excited to see heading into tomorrow night. Big storylines as well. We'll also give you some information on the game day experience. If you have not been down to the stadium, if you did not go to the scrimmage, or if you did not go to training camp, it is a little different. The stadium of the future. Look, it's going to be full capacity this year, but make no mistake about it. There is construction going on down there. You are going to see construction. You are going to see cranes. You are going to see mountains of dirt and debris and fenced off areas. I mean, that's just the reality of the situation. So just prepare yourself accordingly for that. Some of the parking has changed as well, but we'll kind of give you a rundown on everything that's going with that. This will be a good run through tomorrow because keep in mind, tomorrow's the only home preseason game, right? Then they go back-to-back road games in the preseason, and the next time you're at Everbank Stadium will be for the opener on Sunday, September the 7th against the Carolina Panthers. Guest lineup tonight looks like this. It is fantasy football season. And with that, my buddy Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report will join me. Gary's actually in Canton, Ohio at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. He's gathered there with a bunch of other fantasy gurus from around the country. They're having their big fantasy draft tomorrow at the Pro Football Hall of Fame. But Gary's going to join us tonight to give us his thoughts on some of the Jaguars when it comes to fantasy football and to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts that I know are upcoming in the coming weeks. Also, former Jaguar offensive lineman, the Mangler, Greg Huntington, will join me. We'll also check in with former Florida Gator defensive back, great player at the University of Florida, my buddy Fred Weary, will stop by as well to talk a little Billy Napier in Florida. And from a defensive backs perspective, talk about Travis Hunter, the DB, and what it also means to play wide receiver. As Fred not only was an All-American at Florida, but he went on to play 6 years in the National Football League. So we're absolutely loaded. We're with you till 10 o'clock. As always, Jacksonville, we are glad you are spending your Friday evening. You're heading into the weekend with us here on Hacker After Dark. Every night on HAD, we do kick it off with a big deal of the night. And Dylan Denmark. Let's do that right now.
Time now for the big deal of the night.
What's the big deal?
What is the big deal?
No big deal.
It is a big deal.
On Hacker After Dark.
All right. Obviously, everybody is excited to see Trevor Lawrence on Saturday night. We're all excited to see Travis Hunter, and we'll talk about those guys. But I wanted to talk about maybe some under-the-radar guys that, to me, have at least opened my eyes at camp, and I'm very interested to see if that continues to transpire in the preseason game lights tomorrow night at Everbank Stadium. And I'll give you a couple right off the bat. I'll tell you this. I'm excited to see Jack Kaiser tomorrow night. Jack Kaiser, the 4th-round pick out of Notre Dame, the linebacker, I think he's had a very good camp. He has intrigued me by what he's done out there. I like what Jack Kaiser has done. I'm looking forward to seeing Jack Kaiser tomorrow against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Joshua Cephas has caught everything thrown his way. Has had a phenomenal camp for really the 2nd year in a row. Cannot wait to see Joshua Cephas tomorrow night under the lights. And with that, Parker Washington. I think Parker Washington has had a very good camp. I'm curious to see what Parker Washington can do tomorrow night. When it comes to the defensive side of the ball outside of Jack Kaiser, there are a couple of guys. Antonio Johnson, we'll probably hear from him later on in the program. Like what Antonio Johnson has done in camp. Looking forward to seeing him tomorrow night. Jordan Jefferson is a guy that might be relied on, maybe more so than we thought, right? What's going on with Eric Armstead, Mason Smith on the PUP? I think both Jordan Jefferson and Tyler Lacey, 2 interior defensive linemen that, quite frankly, we haven't talked a lot about, could play pretty significant roles for this Jaguar defense. How are Lacey and Jefferson going to look tomorrow night? I also cannot wait to see Jordan Lewis. You know, Jordan Lewis, when they signed him from Dallas, yeah, I knew who he was, but let's be honest, the opening day of free agency, when the big splash is Jordan Lewis, that left a little bit to be desired, at least right then and there. But as we've gotten to know Jordan, as we've seen him through this offseason, and as we've seen him through these first 2.5 weeks of camp, he's been one of the best defensive players out there. He's been fantastic. I don't know how long he's going to go tomorrow night. I don't know how long the defensive starters are going to go tomorrow night. But I am interested to see if Jordan Lewis can take what I've seen of him on the practice field and take that onto the game field against Pittsburgh on a Saturday evening here in Jacksonville. And I get it. Look, Trevor Lawrence, Travis Hunter, love you, Travis Taylor, but Travis Hunter, those are the guys that everybody wants to see, and with good reason. I just wanted to give you a few guys to keep your eye on tomorrow night. Again, Jack Kaiser, Jordan Jefferson, Tyler Lacey, Antonio Johnson. Also, obviously, I'll tell you another one, Hunter Long. Hunter Long. I mean, this is a guy that Gladstone brought with him from L.A. Hunter Long's been really good at camp. Obviously, that's Brenton Strange's job, but you need 2 and 3 tight ends, right? I want to see Hunter Long and Johnny Munt tomorrow night. I want to see what they got. And LaQuint Allen Jr. How can I forget LaQuint Allen Jr.? He's going to run over somebody tomorrow night. I don't know who on the Pittsburgh Steelers, but one of those Steelers that's in their hotel room right now, getting ready for tomorrow night's game, they will feel the wrath of LaQuint Allen Jr. That guy runs tough. That guy runs physical. That guy runs violently. And he gets to unleash that on another football team tomorrow. Keep your eye on 36. Really, really enjoy what I've seen in the first 2.5 weeks out of that rookie from Syracuse. The game tomorrow night is going to be all about how the offense looks. How does Trevor Lawrence look? How does Brian Thomas Jr., the running game with Bigsby and ETN? How does the offensive line look? Obviously, Travis Hunter on the offense. Also, how does he look on the defense? You're going to keep your eye on Trayvon Walker, Joshua Hines-Allen, Tyson Campbell, Foye Oluokun. No question, those are the guys on this team. Just take a look at some of the under-the-radar guys. That's all I'm asking you to do. Take a good hard look at Jack Kaiser, a good hard look at Jordan Lewis, a good hard look at Antonio Johnson, Jordan Jefferson, and Tyler Lacey. offensively, LaQuint Allen Jr., Hunter Long, Joshua Cephas. That, to me, those guys, to me, are really what preseason game number one is all about. Again, I can't wait. It's not the regular season, but it's something. And something is better than nothing. And it's the first time we'll see the Jaguars out there in a game situation against another NFL team since January 5th, and it'll bring in the new era of Jaguar football. The first time Liam Cohen will be on the sideline as the head coach. The first time James Gladstone will be out there as the general manager. Tony Baselli is the EVP of football operations. Should be a fun night tomorrow night at Everbank Stadium. And, of course, you will hear the game right here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM, beginning with a 4 o'clock pregame and a 7 o'clock kickoff. Let's talk more Jaguars. Let's talk more Jaguars and Steelers. And let's talk Jaguars also from a fantasy football sense. It's that time of year. It's fantasy football season. By the way, we're going to give one spot away tonight to the Hacker Fantasy League. In fact, right now seems like a great time to do that. If you think you're the best fantasy football player that listens to 1010XL, be caller number 4 right now. 641-1010, 641-1010. And you will get one of the 16 coveted spots for the Hacker Fantasy League Thursday night, August the 21st at Twin Peaks, Atlantic and Kernan. The draft will begin about 7 o'clock. We only ask 2 things. You're available on Thursday night, the 21st, and you bring people with you. We want a festive environment. You're going to have a table of about 4 or 5 chairs. Fill them up. Bring your buddies. Bring the kids. Bring the wife. Bring whoever you want. But bring a team to draft with at the HFL draft Thursday night, the 21st. We'll take caller 4 right now, 641-1010. Gary Davenport, Bleacher Report, previewing fantasy football and helping you with your draft prep next right here on Hacker After Dark.
Dan Hicken and Jeff Prosser share the huddle with Freddie T. Monday morning running back with Fred Taylor is fueled by Epstein and Robbins and Monahan Jewelers.
Fred Taylor, he's a candidate to go the distance.
On 1010XL.
Blue here for the Blue Crab House, located right off of San Jose. It's on Jewington Creek Road. They've been around since 1996. Indoor-outdoor dining. Also, takeout is available at the Blue Crab House. Open 4:30 to 9, Tuesday through Saturday. Sunday, noon until 9. Remember, Tuesday, $2 margaritas. Wednesday, $1 oyster night. How about the blue crabs? How about my personal favorite, the Canadian snow crabs? Whatever it is that you fancy, you get it right there. The Blue Crab House.
What 2 vegetables are combined in making succotash?
When you file a claim with Southern Oak Insurance, we schedule one of our trusted vendors to work directly with you, which means a faster claim resolution. Find out more at southernoak.com.
Our family protecting yours. Southern Oak Insurance.
In order to make succotash, you'll need dry corn and dry beans. Suffering succotash was made famous by Sylvester the Cat.
Southern Oak Insurance. Our family protecting yours.
After 3 years, the Hacker Fantasy League is back here in 2025. Thursday night, August the 21st at Twin Peaks on Atlantic and Kernan, the HFL is back. Be listening to Hacker After Dark for your chance to enter.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference.
Hey, it's Frank Frangie. Look, when it comes to glass needs around the home, there's one name I trust, Lee and Kate's. It's local, family-owned, and they've been part of our community since 1926. They've taken great care of me over the years, and I know they'll do the same for you. Visit leeandkatesglass.com.
With Lee and Kate's Glass, you're gonna see a big difference. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Yo, Jacksonville, Hickens Hype. Checkmate Coatings crushes it with floors I'd put in my own pad.
I'm Brendan with Checkmate Coatings.
We coat it all. Garages, pool decks, driveways, and patios. Be the envy of your neighbors. Rush to checkmatecoatings.com. Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Checkmate Coatings, your floor's missing piece.
Hi, I'm Sean Monahan from Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach. Since 1977, we've been Jacksonville's local family jeweler with a beautiful selection of fine jewelry and certified diamonds. But we're also Jacksonville's leading buyer of gold, silver, and diamonds from the public. Gold's recently hit an all-time high at over $3,000 per ounce. Pay bills, buy something fun. Now is the time to sell your gold for cash and get top dollar, or trade it in for a new piece and get even more at Monahan Jewelers in Atlantic Beach.
Yo, ET here, and I need you to beat the heat this summer with cool escapes and non-stop fun in Clay County. Tackle indoor adventures head on. Throw axes at Live by Axe or smash your stress away at Just Smash That. Then kick back with drinks, good food, and fandom vibes at Nakama Anime Bar or Leaderboard Arcade and Bar. Whether you're blowing off steam or just looking to chill, Clay County got your perfect indoor getaway. Find your cool at exploreclay.com. That's exploreclay.com.
I used to dread going to the dentist. Every visit felt like a sales pitch with constant upselling, surprise fees on my bill, and I could never get in when I needed to. But Harbor Dental Care? Totally different. They saw me the next day, gave me honest pricing up front, and even set me up with a payment plan I could actually afford. No pressure, no surprise charges, just kind people who get it. If you want to experience dentistry the way it should be, book your appointment today at harbordental.care. That's HARBOUR dental.care.
1010XL is presented by Farrah & Farrah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. Preseason football has arrived. That means fantasy football season is right around the corner. In fact, some drafts are going on. I have one of my bigger drafts early. It's actually coming up this Saturday before the Jaguars and the Steelers because we have buddies coming in from out of town. It is that time of year. And with that, let's talk a little fantasy football. Where are some of the Jaguars going in these drafts? What does the top 5 look like? And all points in between. Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report does an outstanding job covering fantasy football. He's done so for years, and Gary's always kind enough to join us here on 1010XL. Gary, how you doing?
Oh, hanging in there. You know, I actually have a big draft of my own this weekend. The Fantasy Football Expo is in Canton, Ohio, and I will be drafting a team Saturday at the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
That is awesome. And I was talking to a couple of my buddies who are coming into town. Look, these are guys that I grew up with. We're in, I think, the 25th year of this league, and I might only see them one time per year, but they always come in for the draft, Gary. There's always something about these drafts that brings buddies together. It's always a heck of a lot of fun.
Oh, absolutely. There's nothing better than a friends and family league, you know, that's been together for years and years, and everybody gets together and, you know, talks smack, and maybe you have a penalty for the last place finisher has to wash the champion's car or whatever. It's one of the things that makes fantasy football great is that it brings people together. And the Expo in Canton is it's arguably my favorite weekend of the year.
Yeah, I'm jealous that you're going to be in Canton. While you're having a draft in Canton, you mentioned penalties. Well, Christian McCaffrey got hurt. I took him number 1 last year, which didn't help me. So I will be serving the drinks at my draft this year as a penalty for my last place finish in 2024. But that was last year. Let's move on to this year. Gary, I want to talk to you about some of the Jaguars. We'll get to them in a moment. But by and large, in these drafts that are happening now in early to mid-August, how are you seeing the number 1 pick in the draft? If it's a PPR league, is there a consensus number 1 guy at the top of every board?
I think in PPR, it's generally going to be Jamar Chase of the Bengals. I don't know that there's truly a consensus guy, like a guy who's going in 90% of the draft. We don't have that this year. You know, they're going to be, most people I think are going to take Chase, even if he regresses from that ridiculous season he had last year. There's just a floor. You know he's going to get his playing with his buddy Joe Burrow in Cincinnati, provided he stays healthy. He's as bust proof as any guy in the top 5. Now, if you lean running back, say you're playing in a standard scoring format, you're going to have people who are probably going to go with either Bijan Robinson or Saquon Barkley, who I want no part of in the first round this year. And then you've got, Justin Jefferson might go first overall. You can make an argument, I guess, for CD Lamb. Honestly, this year, if I'm sitting 1-1, especially if I'm in a PPR format, I'm probably taking a wide receiver. The high-end running backs, just about all of them have some kind of question mark that could blow up your season.
Gary
Robinson had 365 touches last year, which isn't curse 370 territory, but it's close. Barkley had, I think, with the playoffs, 480 something touches. That's ridiculous. He's going to regress. So wide receiver seems to be the safer way to go.
It's interesting you say that about Barkley. Again, Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report with us here on 1010XL. You're not the first person I've heard say that they're not going to touch Barkley in round 1 because of the amount of touches he got in 2024. Gary, I'm old enough to remember where running backs were king at the top of these drafts. In a 12-team PPR, are more wide receivers going to go in round 1 this year?
I think it's right about split down the middle in most of the drafts I've taken part in so far. You'll see like half a dozen wide receivers and half a dozen running backs. Maybe you'll see 7 wideouts and 5 running backs, but it's even Steven, I think in part because there isn't that top guy that just stands head and shoulders above everybody else. And we're not going to have a tight end go in round 1 this year because there's no Travis Kelce, who is 100 points better than the next best tight end. It's not just the workload with Barkley. It's the fact that he ran for 2,000 yards last year, which no 2,000-yard back has even had 1,500 the next year. And the fact that he led the league in rushing, and running backs who lead the league in rushing, the following year, their production generally drops by about 30%.
Gary, inevitably in every draft, there's the one guy that's going to jump on a quarterback probably before he should. I certainly have that in a couple of my leagues, and we always give that guy grief every time he does it. Where is the sweet spot this year? When do you want to start thinking about quarterback if you're in a 12-team PPR?
There are some guys in the 6 to 10 range I like. Bo Nix in Denver, I think 8th among quarterbacks last year from like week 5 on. I know he had a rough September, but it seemed like the light bulb came on. He gives you some rushing upside. I think he had like 430 yards on the ground. But you can wait even longer than that. I think Dak Prescott's ADP this year is like QB 14. And we're talking about a guy, yes, he got hurt last year, missed like half the season. The year before that, he was 3rd in the NFL in passing yards, led the NFL in passing touchdowns, and was 3rd in fantasy points among quarterbacks. And you look at that Dallas run game with Javonte Williams, Miles Sanders, and Jaden Blue, ain't none of those guys scare you. So I think the Cowboys could be one of the more pass-heavy teams in the NFL this year. So, you can wait until 10th, 11th round and get Dak Prescott. Drafting a quarterback early is just bad strategy. It's not, even if that guy finishes as the number 1 quarterback, which never happens. The guy who's drafted first never finishes first. Josh Allen come off the board last year first, finished 4th. The edge you get over, say, the number 12 fantasy quarterback is much smaller than the edge of the number 1 running back over the number 24 guy, or the number 1 wide receiver over the number 36 guy. The hole you're digging at running back and wide receiver, the edge you get at quarterback, it's just not worth it. The math doesn't add up.
Gary, I want to get into some Jaguar thoughts with you as we begin to wrap up. Before we get there, though, not to give all your secrets away, but if there is a guy that you have as under the radar, maybe you can get him in round 8, 9, 10, whatever, and you think he's going to have a much bigger impact than most do, can you give us any guy like that for the good folks here in Jacksonville, a guy that you like that maybe some others don't?
Oh, there's quite a few wide receivers. You look at guys like Cedric Tillman in Cleveland, who was a wide receiver 1 over a month stretch last year. Someone's going to have to catch the ball there. Josh Downs in Indianapolis, same thing. Yes, the quarterback situation. And that's why these guys are falling so far, is everyone's terrified by the quarterback situation. Even bad quarterbacks have to throw the ball to somebody. He's another guy who's essentially free. Josh Palmer in Buffalo has been drawing raves in training camp. Josh Allen was talking him up. Now Khalil Shakir is hurt, so he has an opportunity. That's the thing. I mean, I know I said I'd probably take a wide receiver with the first overall pick, but that additional depth at wide receiver, you can take advantage of that. And even if you take a wide out in round 1, you can turn around and bang running back in round 2 and round 3 and flesh out your wide receiver core after that and build a solid team.
Final moments, Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report. All right, the Jaguars, first and foremost, you've covered fantasy for a long time. This Travis Hunter thing, particularly in IDP leagues, is absolutely wild. Let's assume for our audience sake, Gary, this is just a PPR redraft league. Where is Travis Hunter going in PPR redrafts?
Probably wide receiver 3, wide receiver 4 territory. See, those people, if you just got Travis Hunter as a wide receiver, you don't want him playing defense. That's snaps that you're losing on the offensive side of the ball. So you want him to be, 90% wide receiver and just sprinkle in on quarterback a little bit. But it doesn't look like that's going to happen. So, where the flip side in IDP leagues is those snaps at wide receiver throw his value through the roof if you can start him as a defensive back. It hurts in offense-only leagues.
Brian Thomas Jr. in a 12-team league. Is he a first-round pick?
Yes. I have him inside. I just did a one-man first-round mock for The Athletic like a week ago, and he was in my first round. If he's not in round 1, he'll come off the board, 13th or 14th.
Now, for argument's sake, let's say somebody you're talking to right now, I don't know, might have the 8th pick in a 12-team league on Saturday. Should I think about BTJ there, or is that too early?
I don't know that it's too early. I mean, I've got Ashton Janty in the 8th spot of that one-man mock, but I've got Thomas coming off the board just a couple picks later. I always tell people, the only person who has to live with the team that you draft is you. So if you're a BTJ fan and you want to go get him with the 8th overall pick, go get him with the 8th overall pick, because he's not going to make it back to you at 17. So if you want him, go get him.
Quickly, Tank Bigsby, Travis Etienne, are they going to cannibalize each other and lose value?
Oh, between Etienne, Bigsby, and Tootin probably figured in at some point, yeah. The Jacksonville backfield is one of the murkiest in the NFL. Maybe somebody gets hurt and someone emerges. I still have Etienne as the guy I would draft first, but I have zero confidence that I'm right about it.
And finally, Trevor Lawrence, where do you have him among the quarterbacks?
Oh, probably right around QB 18 to 20, but there's a solid chance, given the weapons he has there, especially if Hunter turns out to be the real deal. Brenton Strange takes a step forward in his 3rd season. He's one of those guys that you can wait a while at quarterback and maybe grab him as a half of a platoon situation, and he could outplay his draft price easily.
Gary, you gave me a hint or a clue there about some other guys. Let me tell you, I don't know if it's going to matter in the regular season, but De'Ami Brown's looked pretty good in training camp. So keep your eye on De'Ami Brown, the free agent from Washington. He ended the playoffs red hot with the Commanders, comes here to Jacksonville, and has had a very good offseason as well. Tell the good folks here in Jacksonville, Gary, about Bleacher Report and the fantasy coverage you'll have as drafts are beginning all over the country.
Oh, well, I'm an NFL analyst and fantasy football analyst, so Bleacher Report, fantasy analyst at Football Guys and The Athletic. We'll have a mock draft coming out later this week that's really not a mock draft. We're playing it out. So I like to put up drafts where people have some skin in the game. So, and in that draft, Jamar Chase was the first overall pick.
It's a busy time of year. Gary Davenport, Bleacher Report, many other outlets as well. Gary, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Oh, anytime, sir.
Hey, Hicken here. I couldn't be any happier than to join the George Moore Chevrolet family. When I say family, I mean it. Visit their beautiful showroom today off Atlantic Boulevard. Find out exactly what I'm talking about. No pressure, just friendly help. And whether you want a car, a truck, SUV, electric, pre-owned, you name it, George Moore Chevrolet has it. And if you can't make it over to Atlantic Boulevard, no problem. MooreChevy.com is easy to navigate as any site you will try. It's never been more easy to use. George Moore Chevrolet. Together, let's drive.
Let's get the work done.
Training camp is here.
Up, quick feet, quick feet, quick feet.
1010XL's training camp coverage is backed by Roland Weish Plumbing and Green Acres Sporting Goods.
Go, here we go. Let's go. It's live now. Let's go.
Bueller. Bueller.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Hey, Jason, got a minute?
Always. What's on your mind?
This time of year, my air conditioner is running non-stop. Hot all day, hot all night. It has to run constantly just to keep up.
Well, that's what they do.
But if something happens to it in the middle of a 2-week heat wave, I'm in trouble, Jason. I can't wait 3 days or 2 days or even the next day for service. If you can't get someone here today, I'm sweating by tonight. What if it breaks, Jason?
You call me, pal. That's what we do. Bueller Air and Plumbing.
But you're probably swamped with calls from everyone else's AC that ran nonstop and then broke in a heat wave, so they called you because that's what you do.
But we always have room for an emergency. At Bueller Air and Plumbing, we have techs standing by because we know these things happen.
So I don't need to worry. Wow. That time you calmed me down without even using the sunglasses.
Oh, I was reaching for them.
Stay cooler with Bueller.
Visit BuellerAir.com.
Here's your 1010XL community calendar of local events and nonprofit groups helping people here at home.
Shuffle up and deal for a cause. Let's go all in to help others out. Join the Hold'em for Life poker tournament coming up September 20th at Blessed Trinity Parish Hall. Every hand helps the Women's Help Center support expectant mothers and newborns.
Find out how you can be part of the cure for blood cancer at the Light the Night Walk at ViStar Ballpark November 22nd. Take the first step at lightthenight.org.
Dreams Come True is a local wish-granting organization giving dreams and special times to local children battling life-threatening illnesses. Find out how you can help at dreamscometrue.org.
City Rescue Mission has been providing food, clothing, and love for over 70 years to the homeless in Jacksonville. If someone you know is struggling, learn more about the City Rescue Mission at crmjax.org.
You can find out how to share your community event at 1010XL.com.
Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
Are you ready to reclaim your backyard? Serving Northeast Florida since 1977, Surfside Pools is the trusted name for expert pool design. Family owned and operated, they offer pool service, equipment repairs, commercial maintenance, remodels, and new pool construction. Let Surfside Pools transform your backyard into the oasis that you crave. Are you ready to float happy? Visit surfsidepools.net or call 246-2666. Surfside Pools and Spas, where luxury meets leisure.
License number CPC 044080.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Thank you to Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report. Fantasy football season. We'll get more guys on. I know we're a little bit early, but I know drafts are starting up. Again, I got my big one, or one of my big ones tomorrow personally. The Hacker Fantasy League draft is 13 days away. Denmark, what about you? Are you one of those guys that waits as long as you can? When are your drafts?
I've already done 2 dynasty drafts. I've done about 8 best ball drafts.
I forgot you're with Dempsey. Dempsey's in a million best ball leagues.
My main ones that are seasonal, we wait till our preseason games are done.
Yeah, we'd like to. It's just tough because we got a buddy flying in from Houston, guy driving up from Ocala, guy driving up from Orlando. Half of us are married with kids. It's not like it was, 15 years ago. You got to coordinate these things a little bit more now. So we always do it, usually the second weekend of August, which falls a little early this year because this is technically the second weekend in August. It'll just happen to be August the 9th when we do our draft. Yeah, 8th pick. I'm really thinking about Brian Thomas Jr. I'm contemplating it. Again, BTJ and the Jaguars play the Pittsburgh Steelers tomorrow night, a game you will hear right here on 1010XL Radio with pregame coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. Now, if you haven't been down to the stadium for the scrimmage or for training camp, and you haven't really seen what's going on down there, well, you know that whole Stadium of the Future thing? That has started. even though the stadium is going to be full capacity this year, you are going to notice a couple of things. So here's just some information from the Jaguar fans. And again, you can get more information at jaguars.com. Fans can expect the in-bowl game day experience will remain unchanged with full capacity throughout the year. However, guests may need to adjust where they park, enter the stadium, and make their way to their seats. General admission guests should access the main concourse for full circulation around the stadium, as the ground level no longer connects gate to gate due to the construction. All 4 gates for Everbank Stadium will be open, and there are additional gates in the south end by the old flex field. Gate 4 on the southeast end is now a super gate, directing fans to the fan entertainment zone, south end zone, Daly's Place, and the south escalators. Again, and there is a ton more information about what's going on down there. Go to jaguars.com. But tomorrow night will be a good test run, especially for you season ticket holders. It's not bad, but it's different, right? I mean, just again, that stadium of the future is coming in 2028. The construction has started. So just understand that when you go down there, it will be a little different than when you left it last December when the home finale happened here in Jacksonville. What are we going to see tomorrow night? Well, I'll tell you what we're not going to see. We're not going to see a lot of Pittsburgh Steelers. Aaron Rodgers, TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, Cam Hayward. You know, you can go on down the line. Patrick Queen, pretty much the who's who of Pittsburgh is not going to play. That's what Mike Tomlin has decided. Liam Cohen has decided to play the guys here in Jacksonville. I was a little surprised yesterday, but in thinking about it last night and getting ready for the show today, it is probably the correct decision. You got a brand new offensive scheme. You got a brand new defensive scheme. You have a ton of new players. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, we've talked about this. His top 3 wide receivers, right? You got, obviously, Brian Thomas, Travis Hunter, and De'Ami Brown. Trevor Lawrence has a combined 8 games of NFL experience with those 3 guys. And those 8 games were all with Brian Thomas last year. He's never played a competitive game with Travis Hunter. He's never played a competitive game with De'Ami Brown. You can't just throw these guys out there and say, all right, have at it. There you go, September 7th against Carolina. You got to have some timing, some chemistry. At least that's the logic going in. You know, I was talking about this with Dempsey down at training camp, and I think, you know, he's right, and it was him, he brought this up. Whether they play in the preseason or not, whether they star in the preseason or not, whether they're terrible in the preseason or not, nothing is going to matter in the next month until what happens on September the 7th. And while I do agree with that, and he's correct, I also still feel, in thinking about it, that it is probably the right decision to play the starters, to get a little cohesiveness, particularly on the offensive line as well, and see where you are at that point. Again, do you risk injury? Yeah, you do. But you risk injury every day in practice. Go ask the Chargers. Their $100 million offensive tackle just ruptured his patella tendon in practice and is out for the year. So, yeah, injury is a risk in games, but injury is also a risk in practice. At the end of the day, I think Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, Tony Pacelli are making the right decision in playing the starters. How long will they go tomorrow night? Probably a quarter. Again, I think if the offense goes out there, drives right down the field, and punches it in for 6, I'm not sure if they need to see a second drive or not. I mean, Joe Burrow played 2 series last night for Cincy. He had 2 touchdowns. I'm not expecting Trevor to do that. But if Burrow goes out there for 9 of 10 for a buck, what did he have? $140 and 2 scores? You know, Cincinnati obviously is changing their philosophy. They're playing their guys this year. Jamar Chase had 4 catches for 77 yards and a touchdown last night. Different teams have different philosophies. I agree with what Liam Cohen is doing in playing the starters tomorrow night. Let's talk to a guy that knows all about NFL preseason. He played 6 years in the National Football League as a defensive back. He also starred for the University of Florida, and for that matter, was a star here locally at Mandarin High School. That's my buddy Fred Weary. I want to talk to Fred about Billy Napier and DJ Lagway on the Florida side. I also want to talk to him about Travis Hunter, the defensive back, and flipping over to wide receiver. Fred Weary was an all-SEC player at Florida as a DB. In his prime, could he have played wide receiver? We'll ask him next, right here on Hacker After Dark.
From pit road to victory lane.
The sun setting behind him, the wind at his back.
This Sunday at Watkins Glen.
The checkered flag is in the air.
NASCAR is tuned up by Maxie's Mechanics on 1010XL.
Attention skilled electricians. Are you undervalued at your current company? Time to step up to the bigger projects and better opportunities. Join the team at Miller Electric Company, a trusted name in the industry for over 96 years. At Miller, we tackle the biggest projects in the city, offering not just the job, but an experienced, top-notch pay, unbeatable benefits, and the best working environments in the business. Please join the team that values your skills and rewards your hard work. Elevate your career to new heights. Apply today at millercareers.com, an equal opportunity employer.
Now this is how you end a summer. Under the lights, surrounded by history. The driver's last shot at the playoffs. Your last chance to see regular season action. Friday night, Xfinity lights the fuse. Saturday night, the Cup Series delivers the fireworks. This is Daytona. This is everything. NASCAR weekend at Daytona International Speedway, August 22nd and 23rd. Get your tickets now at DaytonaInternationalSpeedway.com.
If you're playing fantasy football, you might want a little help. Get 1010XL's Fantasy Football Draft Guide with in-depth player bios and the top 32 rankings at every position. Get the guide at 1010XL.com and on all of the 1010XL social channels.
Hello, Jacksonville. This is Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for your Jacksonville Jaguars. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we know not every injury happens on Sundays. Sometimes it's flag football, weekend yard work, or just playing with your kids. That's why we built a team of fellowship-trained orthopedic surgeons, experts in everything from knees and shoulders to spine and sports injuries. Whether you're chasing championships or chasing your dog, we've got you. Learn more at osjax.com. That's osjax.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Circa Resort and Casino has 2 epic pro football contests, Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Circa Million, pick 5 games weekly against the spread for $1 million grand prize. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no spread. Last one standing wins $15 million. Enter at any Circa in Nevada, play anywhere. Sign up for either and get 50% off a 2-night stay. Helmets and Heels will be live from Circa in Vegas on August 22nd. Full contest details at circasports.com and the 1010XL homepage.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. From estate cleanouts to furniture and appliance removal, we handle it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
60 days from now, you'll be one of these 2 guys. The first guy, sluggish, foggy, and feeling like he just can't keep up like he used to. The second guy, driven, strong, and confident. Why? Male Excel's breakthrough microdosing protocol, a daily low-dose testosterone. You don't have to be the first guy anymore. Be the second guy. Take the same steps he took. Try MaleExcel.com. 100,000 men chose wisely. Your move.
Rock fans, get ready. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs are rolling into the Florida Theater Thursday, August 14th. Founding member of Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers, Mike brings raw rock and roll, killer guitar riffs, and that unmistakable edge. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs.
These are the best of times.
Get your tickets now at floridatheater.com. Mike Campbell and the Dirty Knobs, August 14th at Florida Theater.
Mike Dempsey for Apex Roofing and Contracting of Jacksonville Beach. If your roof's got any damage, if it leaks, if it's just old and ugly, call my friends at Apex Roofing. But Mike, roofs are so expensive. It's true, quality roofing is not cheap, but Apex Roofing has up to 100% financing available, so you don't have to compromise quality for budget. Apex Roofing. No shortcuts, no stress, just quality work with financing available. Reach for the peak with Apex Roofing and Contracting in Jacksonville Beach. ApexRoofingFL.com.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Steelers come up on Saturday night in the preseason opener as the NFL preseason will kick off for every team this week. As far as colleges go, camps open all over the country. The Florida Gators play a football game later this month as we are on the doorstep of both the college and NFL seasons. Let's talk a little Florida Gators. Let's talk a little Travis Hunter as well, with a guy that was an All-American defensive back at the University of Florida. He went on to have a 6-year NFL career. Of course, he starred before all that here at Mandarin High School in Jacksonville. That's my buddy Fred Weary, always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Fred, how we doing?
Oh, we're doing just fine. Hi. Nice to be on the show.
Hey, Fred, we always appreciate it, man. First and foremost, let's talk about your alma mater from the high school ranks in Mandarin. Boy, they got another All-American over there this year in Brody Jennings, who's on his way to Miami. We remember how good that team was last year with Tramel Jones and Jamie French and Drake Stubbs. Boy, they've got quite the product over there on Greenland Road these days.
Yes, they do. And I heard they reloaded this year, too. So, They should be, a team featured in high school ranks, and they should be up there with all the best teams this year.
Yeah, those Mandarin teams back with you and Sam Coward were unbelievable, and Mandarin now is one of the best in the city pretty much year in and year out. You left Mandarin and you went to the University of Florida where you were an All-American defensive back. So let's talk about your alma mater now from the college ranks. Fred, what's your thought, man? Billy Napier coming into year number 4. Your thoughts on him as the head coach?
I'm definitely, he's got the program going in the right direction. I think this is the year for us. I'm thinking this is the year that we should get over the hump. We definitely should be over 500. I think we should be competing for a championship in the conference. So I think we got the talent there now, and it kind of took a couple of years for us to get the talent that we have there now. But this is the most talent that Coach Napier has had there, in the previous 3 years. So he's got it there. So now it's just time for us to go out there and, so that we can play Florida football.
Former Florida Gator All-American defensive back Fred Weary with us here on 1010XL. Fred, it's interesting. I've talked to quite a few former Gators in the last couple of days. Your former teammate Riedel Anthony, Ben Troop, Ciatric Faison, D. Webb among them. And pretty much across the board, the former players seem to be still very high on Billy Napier. They like what he's doing. Probably more or higher on Billy than maybe the Gator fan base is. Why do you think that? Why do you think the former players are giving Billy the benefit of the doubt, unlike some of the Gator fans?
I think they kind of know it's a different era, and then it's a different trend. This is totally different from when we played. The way you got the players, how the players, come to you, the school and all that type of stuff. So it's a different transition, and it's a new, Coach Napier got thrown right in the middle of it, right in the middle of that transition. So I think the former players, we kind of see that, and we're just kind of just letting things, kind of fall out as is. And he's got the program right, recruiting right back up in there. So I think we're going to be right back where we need to be at with Coach Napier.
Of course, this season will go as far as probably DJ Lagway's health will take it. If DJ Lagway is healthy, Florida may be pretty good this year. If DJ Lagway were to get injured, that would obviously be a problem. Fred, you played against really good quarterbacks in college, obviously Peyton Manning among them. I mean, when you look at DJ Lagway, do you like what you see?
Yeah, it's funny you say that. And I think I heard some other people say that. I think he actually has the fastest release that I've ever seen besides Marino. He's on that level. So that's just personally just seeing his release, him in the pocket like that. But for that aspect, I still think he got a lot of stuff he needs to clean up, though, to be, to be that number one guy. And I think he has an opportunity to be great, to be like a Heisman Trophy type great. So he has, he still got to hit the intermediate passes. He got to be a little bit more consistent underneath, but he throws the perfect deep ball, and his release is, his timing on his release in the pocket is like, up there with the best.
Look, you need athletes. You need guys like you, Riedel Anthony, Ike Hilliard. I mean, that 96 team was loaded with athletes, but it also comes down to the lines of scrimmage as well. And in today's SEC, if you don't have an O-line and a D-line, you're going to have real problems. And I think this year, Fred, is probably Billy's best year along the lines of scrimmage. When you think of Tyreek Sapp and Caleb Banks and George Gums, L.J. McCray defensively, you go to the likes of Jake Slaughter and Austin Barber on the offensive line. Florida in the SEC can probably compete with most teams along the lines of scrimmage this year.
Yeah, I mean, that's where it starts at. With the boys up front. I mean, if you don't have the guys that compete up front, I definitely think we do. I think we got a lot of returning starters, especially too on the offensive side. That experience is definitely a plus. Same thing on the defensive side too. I think last year we were inexperienced on both fronts, and I think that's going to be our plus this year.
Couple of more for former Florida Gator defensive back Fred Weary. Fred, you were an All-American in college. You went on, like I said, to have a 6-year NFL career as a DB, so you're a perfect person to ask as we shift gears now to Jacksonville, your hometown still, and Travis Hunter, man. I mean, look, I know you've seen him. The guy was a terrific DB, terrific wide receiver in college, did both. But the idea that he wants to do both in the NFL, it's not really an idea. I mean, he's going to do it. We were out at practice this week. He's playing one play on offense. They run out another colored jersey to him. He puts that on, and literally the next play, he's on defense. I mean, it's absolutely wild. What do you see when you see a guy like Travis Hunter?
I actually see what Travis sees. It's weird. Myself, if I had the ability Travis has, I would definitely try to pull it off, play off. But I think how he can do it, I think he needs to focus first on just being a starter on the cornerback side. Reason why I say that is because, when I'm covering Jerry Rice on a play, they might send him on a go route, and then they're gonna send his backup in on the next play. So if you're playing corner, you got to be in shape. Straight up, you got to be in shape. So if he's trying to be the unicorn to play both, I would focus on more locking down the corner spot first, and then they can always put me in to be big plays on the offense side. You can always sub me in that from that angle. That's the way I would look at it.
Did it ever cross your mind? I mean, did you ever talk to Spurrier about doing anything on offense? You were a heck of an athlete in college.
Yeah, but just like you said, we had too many athletes there. He didn't need me to do anything. That's exactly what it was. He didn't need me to.
Well, and the crazy thing is, I mean, you have to go back to basically Dion, right? Obviously, Travis Hunter was just coached by him at Colorado, but there's just not a lot of guys that have played both sides of the ball. And you talk to, the Jaguars. I heard Liam Cohen on the Rich Eisen show this week. I mean, they're legitimately talking about 75, 80% of the offensive snaps and maybe 75 or 80% of the defensive snaps. I mean, Fred, is that possible? I mean, can Travis Hunter do that?
It's tough. You got to be in shape. But, I mean, look at him. He's a specimen. But think of it like this, y'all. They're not looking at it. You got to think. He's that unicorn of an athlete. Let him go ahead and be that dominant on the defense side because it's inept. Like you got an extra offensive player playing defense. They're not really looking at it. And then I can have big plays script up for him on offense, put him in anytime. But I always got that big play capability if he's playing defense all the time. Does that make sense, y'all?
No, it does. It does. No, there's no doubt about it. You need a playmaker on the field on both sides of the ball, and that apparently is what Travis Hunter is going to try to do. Final moments with former Gator All-American DB Fred Weary. Fred, people associate you with the New Orleans Saints. That's where you spent a majority of your career, but you're back here in your hometown of Jacksonville. I know you're a Jaguar fan. What do you think of this year, man? Liam Cohen, James Gladstone, all the newness on the roster, including Travis Hunter, obviously Trevor Lawrence coming into year number 5. What's your thought on the Jaguars coming into the season?
I mean, I think everything's an up and up. I think we're in the right direction. We got everybody's flowing in the right direction. We got a new group of guys in there, and everything's new. It looks, from what I see on it, everybody's working hard. They got them, pointed, everybody's on the right goal, trying to, hit the conference, the division, all that type. You can tell that they're working towards all that just in the little work that you see on TV and stuff. So if they can start off, and then it's the kids in the start. With NFL, you got to start. And it used to be the quarters with us, and now they play more games. So I don't know. You got to have the key is the first 4 games and how you start in that. I don't care how everybody from the beginning of the season think we can win the Super Bowl. That's all NFL teams. So it's the key in the start, y'all.
Yeah, there's no doubt. Jacksonville opens with Carolina, and then it gets tough, man. At Cincinnati, Houston, at San Francisco. That Carolina game is enormous. Fred, leave us with this. Tell the Gator fans here in Jacksonville what you're doing these days based on your social media. Normally, you can find yourself on a lake or a river somewhere doing some fishing. Is that accurate?
Yeah, that's accurate. I do a lot of bass fishing most of the time. I fish with one of my good friends is Terry Scroggins. He's an MLF pro bass fisherman. So we get on the water a lot, and he kind of teaching me the ropes on the water. So that's pretty much what I've been doing lately.
We need to hook you up with Travis Hunter. He's a big fisherman as well. You could show him some of the spots here in Jacksonville.
I'm pretty sure all that stuff is in the works.
Ah, well, there you go. All right, well, keep us posted on that. My buddy Fred Weary, DB and All-American defensive back at the University of Florida. Fred, appreciate the time, pal. We'll talk again soon.
Okay, thanks.
Made in Jacksonville, for Jacksonville, by Jacksonville. 1010XL, Jacksonville Sports Radio.
Homeowners, storms don't wait, so why should you? Protect your home and your wallet with Universal Roofing Contracting. Save up to 20% on roof replacements and repairs now through August 31st. Financing's available with payments as low as $115. Call 855-ROOF-HELP for your free inspection. Universal Roofing Contracting, protecting your home, building your trust. License number CCC 057165, CBC 1258484.
UniversalRoof.com. Need or want cash? Beaches Jewelry and Pawn has cash available. Ready to buy guitars, surfboards, jewelry, firearms, tools, and especially gold. They need it all, selling or pawning. Get cash on the spot at Beaches Jewelry and Pawn in Jacksonville Beach.
Life happens every day, and sometimes it gets in the way. That's why 1010XL makes it easy to listen to your favorites. If you missed it, get it on demand.
At 1010XL.com.
Channeled by Duck Rooter Plumbing, Septic and Air Conditioning.
Summer's winding down, and Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville has great deals. Cruise on the roadways and highways in a stylish new Tucson, pack the family into a spacious Santa Fe, or explore our selection of quality pre-owned vehicles. Find hot deals on Hyundais. Backed by our exclusive nationwide lifetime warranty, Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville.com. Visit us on Atlantic Boulevard. For all life's journeys, Jenkins Hyundai of Jacksonville is here. Welcome to the family. See dealer for details.
The flagship station of the Jaguars. WJXL AM Jacksonville Beach. WJXL FM Jacksonville Beach.
Lucas Tree Service is a certified arborist and a local family-owned business with over 45 years of experience. They specialize in tree removal, trimming, and stump grinding for both residential and commercial properties. Get prepared for storm season and receive top-notch customer service from Lucas Tree Service, 904-241-3533. Online at lucastreeservice.com.
Frank Franzi here for Coyle & Sons Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember Morton Anderson missing a chip shot field goal that launched the Jags into the playoffs in 1996? You know who doesn't miss? Coyle & Sons Fencing. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821. That's 904-356-4821. Or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E, Jacks.com. Coyle & Sons, keeping your business and home safe for nearly a century.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting.
If your ride is making strange noises, don't wait and make it worse.
Come to Action Transmission on Merrill Road. My expert technicians can diagnose the problem and likely fix it fast. Experience the difference at Action Transmission on Merrill Road.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Halftime, Hacker After Dark, 1 hour down, 1 hour to go. We'll take you up till 10 o'clock, take you up to the weekend here with us on 1010XL and on 92.5 FM. NFL preseason football tonight. Shedeur Sanders, playing for the Cleveland Browns, played the entire first half. Stats don't look bad, but I think Denmark, I watched a majority of the first quarter. I think Shedeur Sanders picked up most of his stats in the second quarter. He's 11 of 19 for 103 yards, 2 touchdowns, and no interceptions. He's got a pretty good quarterback rating right now. But again, when Carolina did not play a lot of their starters tonight, but when Carolina had some of their better second-team players in the first quarter, it was not a lot of fun for Shedeur Sanders. But to his credit, in the second quarter, when Carolina started putting some of their younger guys in, Shedeur Sanders did well in that regard. Again, 11 of 19 for $103 and 2 scores. Anything about that jump out to you tonight with Shedeur?
No, he looked okay. I mean, some good, some bad. There was one point in particular where he tried running around like he did at Colorado.
Yeah, on a fourth down, mind you.
And, yeah, it didn't work out. But, he first drive went 3 and out. Then he kind of, got his feet under him. And he had one drive he put together late in the first quarter. And they scored early in the second quarter. I don't know who Carolina was playing on defense. But, I mean, he didn't have Jerry Jeudy. Dylan Sampson was his running back. So it was all right.
Yeah, that's right. It was all right. And look, all right is better than terrible, right? It wasn't terrible. I can't imagine for the life of me he's in any conversation to be the starting quarterback on opening day. I mean, that's got to be Joe Flacco by default in Cleveland. But nevertheless, 19 pass attempts for Shedeur Sanders tonight. They have played him a lot. They're in the third quarter against Carolina. The Browns lead that game 14-7. They also unveiled the Tom Brady statue at Patriots Place in Foxborough tonight. Patriots playing the Commanders. I say that loosely. The Commanders aren't playing like 30 of their guys. This is the Commanders' junior varsity team. Patriots up 27-3 on Washington. Drake May was 3 of 5 for 12 yards. Ramondre Stevenson, 7 carries for 36. If you're wondering how the Commanders are doing, they started Sam Hartman, who people around here will remember from his ACC days, 9 of 19 for 64 yards for Hartman. But again, about 30 Washington Commanders are not playing in that game. Patriots all over Washington, 27-3. The Jaguars get their preseason underway tomorrow down at Everbank Stadium against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Kind of a similar situation. Jacksonville's playing a lot of their guys. Pittsburgh is not playing a lot of their guys. Pittsburgh, I think, has already announced upwards of 20 guys that will not see the field tomorrow. All the ones you would expect. TJ Watt, Jalen Ramsey, DK Metcalf, Patrick Queen, Aaron Rodgers, among many, many others, will not play tomorrow night. But it's a prime opportunity for the Jaguars to get out there against another NFL team, work on timing, work on chemistry. With so many new guys on this roster, you got to take advantage of this opportunity. Not a new guy on the roster, but a guy coming into year number 3 and now having his 3rd different defensive coordinator. Not exactly the best start to a career from a cohesive standpoint, but I think Antonio Johnson's had a pretty good camp. Yesterday down at the Miller Electric Center, I had the opportunity to catch up with Antonio Johnson, preview the Pittsburgh Steelers game, and here is that Jaguar training camp one-on-one conversation with defensive back Antonio Johnson.
Now, Renewal by Anderson Custom Windows and Doors takes you in the locker room.
Jaguars wrapping up practice here at the Miller Electric Center, getting ready for Saturday night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. We got Jaguar DB Antonio Johnson with us here on 1010XL. Antonio, how'd it go out there today?
Today was good. The guys just flew around, made plays, and we just, go back, look at the film, and make the corrections for today.
Got a game on Saturday. You get to hit somebody else in another uniform, man. How excited are you guys for that?
Man, we're so excited. We've been out here trying to get at each other, so now we get to, take that little frustration and that eager and excitement and go out and put on the show.
A lot of change on this roster, a lot of change in the coaching staff. As a guy that was here really for a couple of years now, but particularly last year, what's it like welcoming all the new guys in, the new staff as well?
It's very well. The team, myself, we all been very welcoming. I feel like the coaching staff, the players, the new players they brought in, all gel well. It's a good environment, good atmosphere for the team, and you see it on the field. Everybody gel together. We push each other, and it's all love.
Third year for you, third different defensive coordinator. What are the challenges that have come with that?
Different schemes each year, and just finding yourself within each scheme. Trying to eliminate what you learned the year before, and you just apply what you're learning now. But also using what you learned the year before, just to apply it to your game and use it as advantage.
What do you like about Anthony Campanile? On the outside looking in, he looks like quite the character.
I know, yeah, he's a cool guy. Very energetic. He's gonna bring energy every day. He loves his players. He wants all his players to make plays and be the best player that we can be. But off the field, he also loves as a man. He talk about how he loved the room. He had a good man in the room, and how having good men in the room just all around just make the defense or a team better.
A couple more for DB Antonio Johnson. Same question with Liam Cohen. What do you like about the new head coach?
Same. Bring energy every day. He pushes hard, but at the end of the day, he loves his players. He's wanting his players to be in the best position. And like I said, when you have a head coach in DC that come with that type of energy each and every day, and you feel it on the field, you see how the players are moving, you see how we going to make plays. It's easy to go make plays for guys like that.
There's a thought out there that you've had a pretty good camp. You talk to fans, you talk to, my fellow media colleagues as well. Do you feel like you've had a good camp 2 weeks in?
Yes, sir. I feel like, obviously there's always room of improvement, but I feel like each week I've been trying to come out, put my best foot forward each day, just compete hard, and at the end of the day, wherever the chips lay, they lay, and, just be the best teammate and ball player I can be.
As we begin to wrap up, Travis Hunter, sometimes you're competing against him, sometimes he's in the huddle with you. What's that dynamic like?
You gotta see what jersey he have on for the day. If he got on the same jersey as me, hey, it's all love. When he got on the other jersey, it's still all love, but hey, we competing. So, but at the end of the day, he's a good teammate, he's a good player. He's gonna make a lot of plays this year on both sides of the ball. The hype is there. He's really one of those ones for real.
And when he's on the offense, him, Diami, BTJ, there's a lot of speed over there. ETN as well. What's your thought on the offense?
Electric. It's very electric, dynamic. Let them guys go make plays, and you don't see that when them boys on the field. You got to choose your poison, and when you choose your poison, the other one's gonna kill. So, hey, I love to see what we got going on the other side of the ball with those guys, and I'm excited to see what they're gonna do.
Final question: a lot of excitement in this city. I'm sure you feel it. A lot of excitement for everything new and for what we've seen out here the first couple of weeks at camp. What's your message to Jaguar fans that'll be out Saturday night? First time a lot of them will see you guys since last January.
We just gonna come out. We're gonna give y'all guys a show. We're gonna come with a lot of energy. We're gonna be physical. We're gonna make a lot of plays, and we want y'all to come, support us, because this year is going to be a different show.
Antonio Johnson of the Jaguars. Appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you.
There you go, Antonio Johnson. As always, thank you to the Jaguar PR staff who have been awesome through the first 2.5 weeks of training camp. Absolutely fantastic for helping us out, get all these one-on-one conversations here on Hacker After Dark. And look, coming into camp, and I was guilty of this too, there was a narrative that Antonio Johnson versus Darnell Savage potentially for a roster spot. I no longer think that narrative exists. If you're asking me, and I've been out at every practice, I'd be stunned if both guys did not make the team. I think Antonio Johnson has had a good camp. I think Darnell Savage has had a very good camp. When you factor in the injury to Caleb Ransaw as well, the third-round pick out of Tulane, who's week to week with an injury, probably going to miss the remainder of camp is what it sounds like. I think that only adds and solidifies to the fact that both Savage and Johnson are probably going to ultimately make this 53-man roster. Again, a lot of questions to be determined, and that's what's interesting. Look, we're 30 days away from the Jaguars and the Panthers, but we're only like 2.5 weeks away from cutdown day. They have cut down day a good 10, 11 days prior to the season opener. So in the next, what are we at? 8. You're talking in the next 15, 16 days, the Jaguars play 3 football games. Got tomorrow night against Pittsburgh, at New Orleans, at Miami, with a joint practice against the Dolphins mixed in. You're going to find out an awful lot of questions will be answered about the bottom part of this 53-man roster over the next 2.5 weeks, because cut down day is going to get here before you know it, and we'll see what happens. But you got 3 preseason games to get through, including tomorrow night against the Pittsburgh Steelers. A man that played in quite a few NFL preseason games in his career is the Mangler, former Jaguar offensive lineman Greg Huntington. I saw Greg down at Jaguar training camp earlier this week. Thought it would be good to have him on to talk about this new Jaguar offensive line, talk about Travis Hunter, all points in between as well. Let's go down and dirty with a former offensive lineman, the Mangler. Greg Huntington joins me next right here on Hacker After Dark.
It's a new season.
I like where this team's headed.
A new era.
The fan base has been great.
A new hope.
We're all here to win.
Yes! This is where the dream begins. The Pittsburgh Steelers, Saturday at 7 on 1010XL.
They were right. It could have waited. I can't believe it happened to me. Reaching to check my phone. Now my family has to hear that I'm never coming home again.
Officer?
I'm so sorry. I have some very sad news to share with you.
Every day, 9 people on Florida roadways don't make it home. I was one of the people that didn't make it home.
Ride with Do Not Disturb. Every trip, every time. Let's get everyone home safely. A message from Florida Department of Transportation, Target Zero. For more information, visit targetzerofl.com.
An official message from Medicare.
I turned 65 this year. I knew it was time to figure out Medicare, and I had questions, like when to enroll and how to enroll. So I went straight to the official source, Medicare.gov, to get the facts about Medicare. I found answers to all my questions, and I'm ready to get started. And so can you. Just go to Medicare.gov to get the real facts about Medicare.
Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
This Date in Sports History is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists.
On August 8th, 1992, the original United States Dream Team wins the basketball gold at the Barcelona Olympics.
If your house feels like a Florida swamp and your thermostat's just throwing out suggestions, then it's time to call Duck Duck Air Conditioning.
They showed up fast, fixed it right, and even cleaned up after. My house is finally chilled, and so am I.
Whether your AC needs a quick fix, a full replacement, or just a little TLC, Duck Duck Air Conditioning has got you covered with fast and honest service. Call 904-862-6769 to get your cool back, or online at duckduckac.com. When your AC is stuck, call the Duck.
Lauren Brooks here for Terminix. As temperatures warm up around us, ants come out in droves. And when they move into your home or business, it's unnerving. Terminix knows that ants add up fast, but Terminix subtracts them faster because living with ants isn't any fun. When ants show up, so does Terminix. Don't live with an ant problem, Terminix it. Visit Terminix.com today to schedule a free inspection online. That's TERMINIX.com.
Tired of wrestling with your shower curtain like it's a fight for the last slice of pizza? Ditch the drama and say hello to a smooth, stylish glass shower enclosure from Baker Glass. Wago Glass is clean, elegant, and makes your bathroom look huge and brighter. Give your shower a makeover and feel like you're in a spa without the price tag. I'm Mac at Baker Glass. Call me and get ready to love your new shower. Let's make your shower great again. Remember, Baker Glass. No one treats you better.
Ready to add some value to your day? The everyday deals at Sonny's have got you covered. Right now, you can get the pork big deal for $10, the pork and rib combo for $12, all you can eat ribs for $19.99, and our new loaded barbecue potato for $11. Available all day, every day. And that's why it's always Sonny's here. Sonny's Barbecue, local pit masters since '68.
Hey,
Hicken here for my friends at Clean and Freaks at Zero Res. Great time of the year to get your house Zero Resified. And right now, you can get your entire home clean from Jacksonville's ultimate carpet cleaner. You'll get 3 rooms of carpet clean starting at just $135. Plus, they're throwing in a free hallway and take $100 off the air duct cleaning. Schedule your appointment at ZeroResJacksonville.com or call 287-5727 and ask for the 1010XL special. Zero Res, spell it backwards or forwards. It spells the same. Zero Res.
Frank Frangie here for Stanley Pools. If you're dreaming of putting in a pool this year, choosing the right company is the most important decision you'll make. I've trusted Stanley Pools to build my pool, renovate my pool, and maintain my pool. Stanley Pools has been the best in the business since 1988, and they're still family-owned. Call them today at 904-269-7277 or find them online at stanleypoolsfl.com. That's Stanley Pools, a family tradition of fine swimming pools.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555, Jacksonville. Now, another great guest on the Checkmate Coatings phone line. Hello. Your floor's missing piece.
Back here on 1010XL and 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. The Jaguars and the Steelers preseason game number 1 comes up Saturday night. Of course, you'll hear the game right here on 1010XL radio, as a lot of questions going into preseason game number 1. How much will the starters play? Will we see the young guys, including Travis Hunter? What about the offensive line? How is that going to look? Let's talk about all of it with a guy that knows all about NFL preseason. He knows all about being an offensive lineman in the National Football League. That's my buddy Greg Huntington, the Mangler, former offensive lineman right here with the Jacksonville Jaguars. And Greg's always kind enough to join us here on Hacker After Dark. Greg, how we doing?
I'm doing excellent. I really appreciate you having on my show. You know, I'm a big fan of 1010XL, 92.5 FM. I listen all throughout the day. I listen on the app. I listen on the radio. I get all my sports information from 1010XL. So it's really an honor for me to be asked to weigh in on certain topics as it pertains to the Jaguars.
No, we certainly appreciate having you. I saw you out there at Jaguar training camp this past weekend. And you're an offensive lineman, so you can speak to this certainly better than most. The Jaguars, Greg, brought in 6 new offensive linemen this offseason, 4 in free agency, 2 in the draft. You mingle those guys in with the guys that were already here, like Walker Little and Anton Harrison, Ezra Cleveland, certainly. We talk about chemistry, Greg, on the offensive line. You talk about knowing what the guy next to you is going to do. As a former lineman, how much of a concern is it for you that there's so much newness in that room coming into 2025?
Yeah, just even when you say the amount of new guys, you got 6. You got 4 guys that are considered veterans and 2 that are rookies. I mean, the rookies are obviously in a class of their own. Their heads are just, kind of spinning. The other 4 guys are probably guys like me, maybe not have started many games or backup linemen, but they have familiarity with the NFL game. But to your point, the biggest thing is with the offensive line, it's continuity, it's cohesiveness, it's knowing what the guy next to you is going to do. That's why you don't see on offensive lines people subbing in and out like you do, let's say, on the defensive line. Now, granted, some of that's conditioning things, but the reason that offensive linemen don't get subbed in and out from series over series is because you have to have continuity with the guy next year. I'll just give you 2 examples from my career. I'll give you one example, close to home here in Jacksonville. When Dave Weidel was the starting center, I was the backup center, right? And so Mark Brunell was the starting quarterback with Weidel. Well, during the course of practice, they're going to get the second team in there for maybe 3 or 4 reps with the first team, just in case that happens in the game. So I would come in at center in practice with Brunell as the quarterback. Well, I'm not as familiar with Brunell's cadence and, when he desires to have the ball, but where Dave Weidel is, because he's working with Mark Brunell all the time. And so I may come in and not necessarily snap the ball as quickly as Dave did because he knows how to anticipate where Mark's going with the count or the cadence. And, of course, I get yelled at up by the other offensive linemen. You got to snap the ball faster, right? So that's one example, right? Just there at the center position. having a different center in there with a different quarterback is always a challenge. When I was in Chicago, let's say I'm playing left guard and I have my left tackle, and we're working on a backside slip block, meaning the play's going on the other side. And so my job is to work with the tackle to block the down man that's on me. Maybe he's a 3 technique, but also that I got to get up to the next level very quickly and get that backside linebacker who's chasing the play, right? Well, I can't spend all day on that down man, but I got to help my tackle a little bit to get there. Then I got to get to the next level. Well, sometimes I've done my job, but the tackle's not getting there quick enough. And, tackle may be yelling at me, hey, you got to give me more. I'm like, no, you got to anticipate the snap count and get there faster. And so I'll finish with this. And I mentioned it right there. I said, anticipate the snap count. When I teach even young offensive linemen coming up in junior high school, or even, it matters not what level you're at, the one advantage you have over the defense is that the snap count. So you better learn how to anticipate when that ball's going to be snapped, and you better be the first guy off the ball, right? Well, not everybody's created equal, and sometimes I'd get off that ball faster than my left tackle. Well, that's on him. He needs to figure it out. So I say all that to say this. When you got a lot of moving parts, especially on your starting team right now, there's a lot of things they need to overcome before they are going to gel and be cohesive as an offensive line. Forgive me, that was long-winded.
No, you're all good. Former offensive lineman for the Jaguars, the Mangler, Greg Huntington, with us here on 1010XL in Jacksonville. Greg, the entire offseason, from mini camps to OTAs, now 2 weeks of training camp, you're hitting the same guy, right? You're hitting your teammate. You're battling against your teammate. Well, Saturday night, that changes. Even though it's a preseason game, you finally get to hit somebody else. I mean, how excited are these guys, even though, again, preseason, quote-unquote, how excited are they to play a team in a different color uniform?
Yeah, for sure. You do get extremely tired of going against the same guys all the time. And to harken back to our first training camp with Tom Coughlin, it was 7 weeks long, which is unheard of, because we played in 5 preseason games. So we were there 2 weeks early. So by the time that first preseason game came, again, the Hall of Fame game against the Panthers, it was refreshing to go against a new face. Why? They don't know you. You don't know them. And so they may not know your weaknesses. Now, granted, you watch film and all that kind of stuff, but you're chomping at the bit to lay it on somebody that you're not going to have to necessarily face in practice the next day, right? So yeah, these guys are going to get excited to play against somebody that's not their own teammate.
Greg, I got to ask you, as a former Jaguar, I've talked to a lot of former Jaguars this week, and I'm asking everybody about Travis Hunter and the idea, and I don't even know if it's an idea anymore. I mean, they're going to do it. He's going to play on both sides of the ball, probably a large amount on both sides of the ball, at least to start, to see how it works out. I mean, you played this game at the highest level in the Big Ten. You played this game at the highest level as a National Football League offensive lineman. Your thoughts on Travis Hunter playing both offense and defense?
Okay, so I'll say this initially. I've evolved on what I thought initially, but I'll tell you what I thought initially. If he's the number 1 ranked receiver, but he's also the number 1 ranked cornerback in the draft, I go at cornerback as the starting position, and here's why. In my estimation, even though I'm an offensive lineman, cornerback is physically probably the most difficult position in the NFL, because here you are having to guard a receiver running at you full speed straight ahead that makes a cut. Then you got to turn your hips and you got to stay with that guy and prevent him from catching the ball. Toughest job in the NFL other than the quarterback position mentally and all that. So I thought, golly, if he's number 1 ranked cornerback, then that's where you play him. You start him as a cornerback, and then you spot him in on specific offensive plays, right? That's where I was. Then I had somebody talk to me, and they said, Travis Hunter's size may be a little undersized at cornerback, and who he's going up against when he's playing at Colorado at the college level is not what he's going to be seeing at the NFL level. So it may be better that you start him as a receiver where he can be more of a threat and then spot him in on defense. So I can see both sides of it, but that's where I come down on it.
You know, and as we wrap up, Greg, Travis Hunter is kind of one of the main guys you think of, but you think of all the newness this offseason. Brand new head coach in Liam Cohen, brand new general manager, right, James Gladstone, your former teammate Tony Baselli as the EVP of football operations, all the free agents that are brought in, the rookies, including Travis Hunter. As a former Jaguar, you talk to fans in this city. I saw you out there at training camp. People are excited. Are you excited about all the newness that this offseason brought?
Strangely, I am, because I understand the flip side to that is a lot of newness can mean it's going to take time to bring it together, or even a lot of youth, if you will, in terms of coaching and GM and those kind of things. But it seemingly has worked. They seem very enthusiastic. They seem to have all the right pieces in place. And so I really am excited. And so before the training camp practice I went to, I did go to a mini camp practice. I think I saw you in the stairwell. And I was out there on the field and I was talking to Rick Ballou. I said, Rick, you're out here all the time. I'm just out here today. I said, what do you see that's different? What's different from last year? And he goes, speed. Mm-hmm. Which I thought was encouraging. And I kind of got a sense of that when I was there on Sunday for the training camp. That is that there's another level of speed, but you don't know until you know. You're right. It's not. There's a lot of question marks in terms of what we've already started the conversation with, and that's the offensive line. All I've heard for the past 3 years is you got to protect Trevor Lawrence, right? If you protect the quarterback, those guys are good enough. The receivers are good enough to where they're going to get open. And then I'll finish with this. What won the Super Bowl for the Eagles? It was two things. It was their offensive line and their defensive line. Their defensive line did not blitz one time. That's only happened one other Super Bowl. That means that those guys up front were getting the job done to where the other guys could stay in coverage and give Mahomes all kinds of fits. Number two, their offensive line gave protection and made holes. It's just that simple. Those big guys give Trevor enough time, he's going to find an open receiver. So the sky's the limit, baby.
He is the Mangor, former Jaguar offensive lineman, my buddy Greg Huntington. Greg, I know you're busy. Thank you for the time. We'll talk again soon, pal.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Rick Ballou for Coy Dental. That's right, Carlson Dental is now Coy Dental. Dr. Lee has been practicing there for 9 years, has purchased the company. The Coy Dental team still has the same great dentist and staff. And remember, if you get nervous visiting a dentist, don't. There's never a problem at Coy Dental. With light sedation for cleaning and deep sedation for all your restorative needs. Coy Dental, 2 locations in Jacksonville.
This is Greg Huntington, a.k.a. The Mangler. I'm on the winning team at Waste Management. WM is the largest sustainability company in North America. If your business needs sustainable environmental services for waste removal and recycling collection, then you can count on the industry leader of WM to deliver results. Your services will be completed in a timely, safe, and eco-friendly manner. Go to WM.com/Duval. That's WM.com/Duval and get signed up today. If anyone can talk trash, it's the Mangler.
Hayes Carline here. If you're shopping for a new ride, you've got to check out Atlantic Infinity. Not only do you get a luxury vehicle, you also get the Atlantic Infinity Promise Free with every new car. That's almost $2,500 in added value just for buying smarter, and you don't have to sweat it out on the lot. Shop in their indoor, climate-controlled showrooms. It's cool, comfortable, hassle-free. They're on Atlantic near St. John's Bluff, or browse anytime at AtlanticInfinity.com.
Frank Frangie here for Coyle & Son Fencing. Jacksonville is full of memorable sports memories. Remember the 2017 AFC Championship game when Miles Jack wasn't down? Do you know what else isn't down? Fences installed by Coyle & Sons. Their fences have been standing tall here in Jacksonville for nearly a century. If you're in the market for a new fence, I recommend calling Coyle & Sons today at 904-356-4821 or visit CoyleJacks.com. That's C-O-Y-L-E Jacks.com. CoyleJacks.com.
Prosser here for Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Football season finally upon us, and with that comes cooler weather. If you've been wanting to upgrade your outdoor living space, you should call the experts at Lifetime Enclosures now. From glass lanais to screened-in enclosures, Lifetime Enclosures, and flooring is the best in the business, so give them a call today. Lifetime Enclosures and Lifetime Flooring. Showroom just off Phillips Highway. Proud partner of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
Playoff-bound Jacksonville Jumbo Shrimp are in full swing at the newly renovated VyStar Ballpark. Your home for affordable family fun. Tickets start at just $5. Fireworks after every Friday home game, and kids round the bases after Sunday games. Log on to jackshrimp.com for tickets and details. Jumbo Shrimp Baseball, affordable family fun.
At Performance Painting, we've spent decades protecting commercial properties with durable, long-lasting coatings. And we can bring the same expertise when painting the exterior of your home. With industry-leading materials and a proven process, we extend the life of your home, reducing maintenance costs and preserving its value. Now, for a limited time, save $500 when you hire us to paint your home's exterior. Just mention 1010XL. Go to performancepainting.com to schedule a friendly estimate. Performance Painting. Repair, protect, preserve.
Performance Painting. Life is just so busy this time of year. Between work, the kids' games, family vacations, I need a yard hero to free up my weekends.
You mean somebody who does mowing and trimming?
Yeah.
How about mosquito control?
Yeah.
What about irrigation and pet waste removal?
You do that too? You're my lawn hero.
Find your lawn hero at heroeslawncare.com. Heroes Lawn Care, because every lawn needs a hero.
1010XL is presented by Farah and Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville. Hacker After Dark on 1010XL.
Shedeur Sanders' night is over. 14 of 23. 138 yards, 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. Also 4 carries for 19 yards. And Denmark's social media is ready to put him in Canton, Ohio. Look, I get he's Deion's kid, right? And I get that, you know, the Sanders name in the NFL, there's legacy there, there's history there. But good grief, man. I mean, 14 of 23 for $138, 2 touchdowns, no picks, 4 carries for 19 yards from the quarterback position. Yeah, all right, fine. Good night. I mean, 14 of 23, I have no idea what that is. What is that? That's 65% completion percentage. It's nauseating what people are saying right now. He has arrived and he is the one. I mean, these are guys with blue check marks on Twitter. It's like frustrating to look at. I don't get the love, the obsession there, other than what his last name is. I mean, is that all that there is to it?
For right now, yeah. But I mean, he had a first down and he was showing off his the thing he did in college when he showed his watch. They called it the Shedeur. He kept doing that. Yeah, the NFL defenses, if he does play in the regular season, are they're gonna
destroy him.
Yeah,
I mean, I'm rooting for the kid. I don't have any issue with him. But the coverage that he's getting and people being so over the top about him, like Mel Kiper Jr. was, are going to make people dislike him. And that's not fair. That's just the way it is. I mean, these reactions to a 14 of 23 performance are just ridiculous to me. But, hey, good job in his preseason debut. He's not going to be the starter in Cleveland, and if he is, they're going to be the worst team in the National Football League. So we'll see what happens. Can he ultimately play into a starter? Yeah, perhaps. But we'll see if Trevor Lawrence goes 14 of 23 tomorrow night. How many Jaguar fans are over the moon about that? I get the sense not very many would be, but that's just the sense that I personally would have on that. A lot of NFL talk, obviously, the Jaguars-Steelers tomorrow night, but also you realize week 0 of college football is 2 weeks from tomorrow? There's college football games 2 weeks from tomorrow. And then, of course, 3 weeks from tomorrow is Florida State, Alabama, Ohio State, Texas, LSU, Clemson. Huge, huge games on Labor Day weekend. 22 days away. Everybody is in fall camp. There are stories coming out of every camp. So let's talk a little Florida, Florida State, Georgia, Miami, and more with my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. It is a Friday evening here in Northeast Florida with Dylan Denmark, the Hacker Ryan Green with you, heading into the weekend. It's Hacker After Dark on 1010XL and 92.5 FM.
The 2025 NFL season is just around the corner, and we can't wait for you to be back at the bank. Your Jacksonville Jaguars are starting off the preseason going head-to-head with the Pittsburgh Steelers Saturday, August 9th. Be at the bank as the Jags take the field for the first time this season and grab your tickets for a 7 p.m. kickoff by going to jaguars.com/tickets or call 904-633-2000. We'll see you soon, Jags fans.
A new era of women's professional soccer has arrived. The Gainbridge Super League, redefining the game for the next generation. Sporting Jacks, the first ever pro women's team on the First Coast. Be there for history. Secure your tickets now at sportingjacks.com.
Looking for your new favorite hangout this football season? Try Voodoo Brewing Company in the heart of San Marco. Locally owned and community-focused, Voodoo Brewing serves up award-winning beers, scratch-made upscale pub fare, and laid-back vibes where everyone's welcome. For live music, trivia nights, and all the football action this season, make Voodoo Brewing Company Jacksonville your new favorite spot on San Marco Square.
Hey Jacksonville, it's Dr. Kevin Kaplan, team physician for the Jaguars and proud member of Jacksonville's newest orthopedic dream team. At Orthopedic Specialists of Jacksonville, we brought together 10 board-certified fellowship-trained surgeons, each one a specialist in their field, all working together to deliver smarter, faster care with better results. From sports injuries to joint replacements, we've got the right player for every position. Visit osjax.com and meet your team. That's osjax.com.
Lauren Brooks here from Helmets and Heels. Circa Resort and Casino has 2 epic pro football contests, Circa Million and Circa Survivor. Circa Million, pick 5 games weekly against the spread for $1 million grand prize. Circa Survivor, 1 pick a week, no spread. Last one standing wins $15 million. Enter at any Circa in Nevada, play anywhere. Sign up for either and get 50% off a 2-night stay. Helmets and Heels will be live from Circa in Vegas on August 22nd. Full contest details at circasports.com and the 1010XL homepage.
For over 55 years, Green Acres Sporting Goods has proudly served Jacksonville from the corner of Normandy and Hammond Boulevard. From archery to hunting and fishing, they've got the gear, service, and know-how to get you outdoor ready. Stop by their full-service archery pro shop and check out their wide selection of firearms. And while you're there, sign up for their weekly concealed weapon classes. You can find it all at greenacresporting.com.
Jax is more than a city, beaches, suburbs, or a destination. We're a community that takes care of each other. I'm former Jaguar Tom McManus. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling is dedicated to serving you with respect and integrity. We haul construction debris or property cleanouts for managers, owners, and realtors. We do it all. Call 506-1256 for your free estimate today. We're here for you. We're veteran-owned and operated. J-Dog Junk Removal and Hauling.
Your doctor says your testosterone is normal. Normal for who? Beta males? That's where those lab ranges come from. Male Excel uses optimal levels, where you were at 25, not where outdated mainstream medicine thinks you should be. Our protocol is different. Daily dosing, multiple hormones, personalized to your body, not some insurance company's spreadsheet. This is precision medicine, not sick care. Try MaleExcel.com, free test. Stop being normal. Start being optimal.
If you're 35 to 75, you could get life insurance today. No medical exam needed. I'm Cody with Harborstone Financial. One call could protect your family for life. Call me today, 904-885-9566.
1010XL is presented by Farah & Farah, exclusive injury law firm of the Jacksonville Jaguars. Protecting you and your family. Call 396-5555. Jacksonville.
Now the cool down with Donovan Air, Electric and Plumbing, keeping Jack's cool since '87.
Back here on 1010XL at 92.5 FM in the city of Jacksonville. We are glad you are with us. We have hit the month of August. That means we have college football this month, week 0, less than 3 weeks away. Week 1, which is a crazy good Labor Day weekend, is now at the end of the month as we are on the doorstep of the 2025 college football season. With that, let me welcome in my buddy Brent Beard. I got a chance to see Mr. Beard last week at High School Media Day. You hear him on First Coast News, and you also get him right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, how are you, pal?
It was great to see you too, my friend. We don't get a chance to do that often enough, but it was wonderful to be able to do that. Now, things, as you can imagine, get wrapped up a bit this week. We have pads coming on for the first time, and also we've got some scrimmages coming up. So most teams will have some kind of scrimmage over the next few days to start practice, so it's exciting to get going.
No, it definitely is. And back to High School Media Day, the one thing that was very apparent to me, Brent, is how much of a priority Mario Cristobal and Miami have made Northeast Florida. Not one, not two, but 3 Miami commitments were in the house last week, one from St. Augustine, one from Bowles, and one from Mandarin. So certainly Miami finds these grounds very fertile here in Northeast Florida.
Well, they should. I think that is tremendous for them to be able to get some guys from up here. It's going to help them in many ways, to say the least. And so far, they are doing pretty well themselves, then I would say. I mean, look, they've got a really difficult schedule in some ways. They're starting they were in Shells last week, so they are a little bit different now. Carson Bett looks pretty sharp throwing the ball to C.J. Daniels, and one of the running backs, one of the wide receivers beat cornerback Xavier Lucas a little bit, so they are kind of in the midst of doing what they need to be doing, and so far they've got a lot of talent on the field.
And of course, Miami does begin the year against Notre Dame on Labor Day weekend. That'll be the Sunday night game. That'll be the only game going on, which should be a heck of a lot of fun there between the Irish and the Hurricanes. Brent, the Florida Gators are about a week into camp now. The last time you and I talked, there was some conversation about DJ Lagway and potentially a calf. There was some talk of a walking boot. Well, the boot is nowhere to be found. He was seen throwing this week at Florida practice. Didn't do a lot of 11-on-11 stuff, just did a lot of individual passing stuff. Nevertheless, probably a good sign, but still, there might be, I don't say worry necessarily, but maybe still some slight concern about Lagway and some of these injuries that keep bothering him.
Yeah, I would agree with that. He has nursed multiple injuries, throwing shoulder, a core muscle, and most recently a calf muscle. Now he has thrown some passes in individual drills, which is nice to see. So there's a tad more optimism in what's going on. But, heck, don't they have to get Aiden Warner, who's a redshirt sophomore, and redshirt senior Harrison Bailey ready just in case? Now, even freshman Tramble Jones has received a share of beneficial practices for him, too. So, look, we know that when he's healthy, Lagway is the straw that stirs the drink. But they've got to get, I think, multiple guys ready for the season, don't they?
I believe they do. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly here on Hacker After Dark. One of the guys that Lagway will be throwing to is Dallas Wilson. Brent, he had an incredible spring game. We've talked about that. And again, it's early into camp, but we can only go on what we've seen. And what we've seen early in camp is that Dallas Wilson is kind of picking up right where he left off. There's already videos of him doing all sorts of terrific things down the field for Florida during these early camp days.
I think they've got as much of a optimism with these offensive players as they've had in quite a while. I mean, you've got Eugene Wilson, you've got Dallas Wilson, you've got J. Michael Sturdivant. And I think you've got some tight ends who can catch a ball too. Hayden Hanson, Tony Livingston, and you certainly have got some backs coming out of the backfield that are going to be able to catch and run and hopefully block too. Jaden Bond, Jacoby Jackson, for instance. Hank, I'm telling you that there's got to be a game where Lagway is healthy and all his guys are on the same page, and when they do, that's for Gator fans, that's going to be glorious to see, is it not?
It will, and again, you look at Florida's schedule, it starts out, let's be honest, with pretty easy pickings against Long Island. It gets a little tougher with USF, and then obviously they dive into the deep water against both LSU and Miami, so it'll be interesting to see if there is any issues with Lagway, how Florida handles those first couple of games. Brent, let's go to Georgia. I thought it was interesting in your notes. You know, you talk about being able to beat good teams, being able to beat top 25 teams. How about this for Kirby Smart? In the 2020s, right, this decade, Kirby has beaten 23 teams ranked in the AP top 25. He'll certainly need to beat a lot more with that schedule they have this year, but that goes to show you the Dogs really come alive in those big game atmospheres.
They do, and they've got Alabama at home, and they've got some of their more important games, I think, at home too. Now, what we were talking about Florida a minute ago offensively, Georgia offensively has strung some good practices together too. Noah Thomas is playing well, one wide receiver, so is Zachariah Branch, which is fun to see. Even some of their freshman tight ends, Ellis Williams and Ethan Barmore, made some plays over the weekend too. Their left guard, Michael Morris, has started camp on a high note, so they're excited about what he's going to do. And maybe one of the greatest names you would hope in Georgia history is Bo Walker. I think of the great Bo from Auburn and Walker from Georgia. Hank, if he could do anything similar to those guys, how exciting would that be? But again, Georgia's defensive tackle Christian Miller has been really good. Elo Mendoza, also same thing. Look, it's all, a lot of it's hype, a lot of it's they're in practice, and we're just glad to see them in practice, but they've looked good so far.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And look, Georgia, a lot of expectations on the Dogs, no question. I don't know if there's many expectations on Florida State. I think the expectation, Brent, is that they're going to be much improved, but that could be relative. I mean, 6-6 is much improved from 2-10, but Florida State fans would still be very upset about that. But I know the Seminoles have a couple of scrimmages coming up in the coming days.
Yeah, and this is something, they're jumping on this maybe before a lot of teams are, but they've got a scrimmage on Tuesday of this week, and that's something that will help them. They've got a second one that's coming up on Sunday, and what about this? They are in Jacksonville this week, Hank, Thursday and Friday. I mean, we probably don't talk enough about that, but they're usually at UNF, and that's going to be exciting to have them here with Gus Malzone as offensive coordinator, defense coordinator, Tony White also. So I would say at this point, now look, they start with Alabama, and that's not going to be easy for them by any stretch, but they need to get off to a really good start during the month of September.
It's smart for Florida State to come over here. I completely agree. Helps with recruiting and all points in between, and they've done that now for a couple of years. It is smart. Brent, as we approach college football season, every week when we wrap up, I want to kind of throw an SEC team at you that maybe we don't spend a lot of time on. And look, I don't want an X's and O's breakdown because I'm not quite sure our audience cares. But one thing that I find interesting about this team in particular is that I think people, as the season gets closer, are getting higher and higher on this team. Florida sees them in the first 6 weeks of the year, and that's Texas A&M. Brent, I've heard so much about Texas and Alabama and LSU and Georgia, and we talk ad nauseum about Florida, obviously. We haven't talked a lick about A&M. But Mike Elko going into year number 2, they think they're going to be pretty good out in College Station this year.
Yeah, they do. And look, they really were disappointing in some ways last year. They've stayed around this 8-4 mark, right, lately, and that's been it's been okay, but folks want more than that. Now, they've got some transfers. Casey Concepcion, sound like a baseball player more than he does a wide receiver, and Mario Craver also. And those guys have been impressive. Marcel Reed, their quarterback, they think it could be really, really good also before it's over. So, and then Noah Thomas, their best receiver, went to Georgia, and he is doing well there. But at the same time, look, with these wide receivers and a really a pretty good quarterback in Reed, A&M could be better this year, and that would be really a lot. That would be very exciting. And they had the replay the other day, and I'll be brief about this with the Texas game. And heck, if they score. If you remember this, they were down at the, man, it wasn't even the 1. It was probably the 6-inch line. Could not score. They went for it, really made a bad read. The quarterback did, and that really stopped them in that game. But if they score, they're within basically, a field goal or 4 points of Texas late in that game, which may have made a big difference. So, and that is all to say, this team could be better this year than we think it's going to.
Of course, that is the end of that 4-game gauntlet. Florida will go at LSU, at Miami, then a bye week, home Texas, and then at Texas A&M in what might be the toughest 4-game stretch that any team has in the country in 2025. You see Brent Beard on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Brent, thank you as always. We'll do it again next week, pal.
Good. Can't wait, bud. Take care.
And thank you to my buddy Brent Beard. You see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark, as we are, hard to believe this, 2 weeks from tomorrow, as a matter of fact, till week 0 of the college football season. And, of course, 3 weeks from tomorrow, Florida State, Alabama, LSU, Clemson, Texas, Ohio State, in what is going to be an absolutely spectacular opening Labor Day weekend of the 2025 college football season. So we certainly spent some time on that tonight. We also looked around the National Football League, the Jaguars and the Steelers. Tomorrow night, preseason game number 1. Of course, you'll hear it right here on 1010XL. Pregame coverage beginning at 4 o'clock. Kickoff is at 7 o'clock. We know the Jaguar starters are going to play some. Don't know exactly how much. I would guess probably a quarter. We'll see. And we know Travis Hunter is also going to play on both sides of the football, both at wide receiver and defensive back, in what should be a very interesting evening tomorrow night down at Everbank Stadium. Of course, we'll react to all of it here on the Monday night edition of Hacker After Dark. Well, that will just about do it, man. Very busy Friday night and a very busy week here on Hacker After Dark. We certainly appreciate you guys hanging out with us. We have a ton of people to thank. Again, my buddy Brent Beard, you see him locally on First Coast News. You also get him weekly right here on Hacker After Dark. Thank you to the Mangler, Greg Huntington, former Jacksonville Jaguar offensive lineman, for joining us tonight, giving his thoughts on Jaguar training camp to this point. Former Florida Gator defensive back Fred Weary was a terrific player at the University of Florida, went on to have a 6-year NFL career as well, started at Mandarin High School before all of that, and we certainly appreciate Fred Weary for joining us tonight. And also Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report to get you ready for your fantasy football drafts. I have one of my big personal fantasy football drafts tomorrow. Of course, the Hacker Fantasy League draft takes place on the 21st. It's that time of year, and always enjoy having Gary Davenport of Bleacher Report on to give us some feedback and some thoughts as fantasy football season is upon us. Again, we'll be back Monday to certainly react to the Jaguars and the Steelers, and we do hope that you join us then beginning at 8 o'clock. Dylan Denmark was your producer tonight. Dylan, great job as always. I'm the hacker Ryan Green. And again, Jacksonville, thank you for spending not only your Friday night, but your entire week with us here on Hacker After Dark. As we always tell you, and we cannot possibly tell you enough how much we absolutely appreciate it. So for all of us here on HAD, have a terrific remainder of your Friday evening, a fantastic weekend, and enjoy the Jaguars and the Steelers tomorrow night. And we'll be back to recap all of it Monday night here on Hacker After Dark.